Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the channel and back for Anclote Key Jewelry and Shelling Part 2, where we're going to actually recap some of the things that I found and then go through making some of the jewelry. Hopefully, I'll be able to slide a few pieces that we didn't quite get finished for Desoto in there too, so you'll get to see that. The weather has not been cooperating very well for me on some of that stuff. It's been really, really humid, and I'm having a hard time getting things to dry. So I'll do my best to see what I can get included in there for you. But in the meantime, let's revisit Anclote Key really quick and the pile of things that I found, and let's jump in and get started. So we'll just do a little recap on the things that I found while I was out on Anclote, and then we'll go through making some jewelry, and then hopefully we'll be talking a little bit about their once-a-month only shelling trip that Odyssey Tours puts out there. I have not personally been on it. I feel kind of like I have to, though, because I spent so much time driving up there to only get to go for a half an hour that I've really been wanting to get back and go for a longer bit of time. So I'll get into it.
All right, you guys, this is the part where we sync our watches. I have 11:07 a.m. right now on my clock. Your time to be back to the boat today is going to be 11:45.
And here we are. I mean, cool. We put us like right on a shell pile. This is awesome. Seriously, most accessible trip I have been on. This is cool. Just kind of looking to see what's over here. Spotted that little cutie. Little juvenile Florida fighting conch. Cool. Oh my gosh. Look at that. The stars. And look at the size of that egg cockle. Holy moly. That's amazing. Very cool. There's stuff in here rolling around. Turban. Very cool. I mean, you can't ask for closer to the boat, for heaven's sake. I mean, literally put us right on the shelves. Okay, so not a particularly big haul, considering we were only there for half an hour. But actually, for half an hour, I think I did pretty good. Okay, so there's not a lot to choose from as far as what I'm going to work with today. I do think his and hers would be nice with these. And I'm going to be drilling these little fellows, because I'm going to make some more of those little ice cream cones. And let's see, what else? I just love this. I just love how it feels. It's kind of big for a necklace, but I think I'm going to put it on something longer and hang something inside of it. This yellow one, definitely getting drilled. Same with this one. And this one and this one are going to as well. These guys with the dark colors and the great patterns. So, yeah, I don't know, but something. And these three are all pretty close in size. Color-wise, that doesn't really go, but I'm going to try to make a pair of earrings out of these little Sunray Venus clams. right, now I am starting on the Anclote Key stuff. And a different selection of things, different thicknesses, different sizes. So I mentioned during that trip that I would be cutting these in half. This is where my pencil comes in handy dandy. And I just set it flat. Look at where the middle is. It's right about where that white dot is. And that's my cut line. And you can see that there's like a repair mark here. That is a perfect line to follow to round these off, because it continues through the edge. So I'll just cut this off, and it'll look like a little mini almost. Do that, and then we'll put a hole there and a hole there, and that'll be what makes the earrings. Gives me a place to hang them. So when I'm making stuff like this, this is how I do it. I draw out what I want to do, and then I follow the lines to cut grinded shape. This nice big base scallop here also needs a little chipped over here, but you can see there's a line almost that runs around. Let's get that wet. You can see it a little better here where the dark is and the dark part of these scallop edges are. So again, put it flat on the table. That rib, that big rib right there is the middle. And sometimes it fools you which one in the center is, and you got to count them. Sometimes you end up cutting in the ditch in between the ribs. Sometimes you end up cutting on the rib. Depends on the type of scallop. So that's how I do that. Line that one out. And I'm not sure necessarily I'm going to drill these. I may use these for wings. So I'm just going to go ahead and even this off along that line. And I'm going to save off on the drilling it for now. The chestnut turbans, I am going to go ahead. I've got these guys marked where they're going to get drill holes. I am in love with this shell. And it's got a little fuzzy stuff on it here, kind of, that little bit of haze. I could break out the muriatic acid and go through all of that, but frankly, I just don't want to drag all that out because I'm running out of time. The weather's getting bad, and I still got a lot of cutting and drilling. What I'm going to do is put a wire wheel on here and go in with the tool as this is spinning and clean all of that up. You've seen me do this a few times on some crossbarred Venus clams. Get that calcification haze out of there. Now also, I thought I was going to be drilling this and making a shrine for this shell. Totally changed my mind on this. This is one of the biggest egg cockles I have, so I'm not actually going to drill this guy. I am going to put him on my shelf and love him and pet him and call him George. I don't want to tear that one up. It's just such a beautiful example of an egg cockle. It's so gorgeous. So he's going to stay intact because I just like it too much. However, I do like this little cute fighting conch, especially with this cool repair mark and the different colored browns. You see there is a little bit of haze on this guy. And that I could muriatic acid this, but the haze is not significant enough, and I don't want to mess its shine up. I'm going to take coconut oil to this. Some people use mineral oil, some people use other things. I'm going to go with coconut oil. It's natural, and since this is meant to be worn on your skin, you don't want necessarily anything that's kind of icky against your skin when you wear this out in the sun. So I don't want icky on anybody's skin for wearing in the sun. So I'm going to mark my little hole right about there and use that as my guide point for where I'm going to drill it. It's not the easiest spot to see. When I run into that problem, I just see if I can mark it on the inside. If I still can't see it, that's when this guy comes out and makes a dot right where I want to drill. And that's all I got to do. So I'm going to go through, make up my points on this. Now also, I would want to make something out of these cute little Venus clams, but I don't want them to break because they're such an adorable little pair. So these guys are going to get separated, just like this. Get whatever yuck is inside of them scraped off of there. And rather than worry about taping them and drilling them and hoping they don't break, I'm going to embroider these similar to what I did with the Peace River stuff. So I'll be doing something a little different with these guys. They are going to be set aside, again, not drilled, same as the egg cockle. This star shell is in tough shape, but it is super cool. I'm considering taking the wire wheel to it and removing some more of the outer layer of the shell to expose that beautiful mother of pearl nacre in there. That's really cool. Once I do that, drill a hole in it, make a pendant out of it. And it is a star shell, but it's all the spines are broken off. This is constantly how I find them when I go to honeymoon. It's about the only place I get them. It was nice for me to find that at Anclote. They're only 7 miles apart, so it's not a real big surprise, but I'm going to even all of this off, remove this layer of stuff, which you can see some of it's coming off, then drill a hole in that. This one is a little bit big for a pendant, but I'm going to hold off on this one as well. I might cut that in half on the tile saw to expose the inside, because the insides of turbans are super cool. Now this one is beautiful. That color is phenomenal. It's going to make an adorable little pendant. I'm going to mark a hole right here for it to hang by. And I'm making a couple's pair of fighting conchs, his and hers. The holes on there. And then I fell in love with this, the idea of this and this together. Almost looks like an egg, but it looks like a really beautiful sunrise, radiant sunrise. And that shell is just so pretty. So I am going to suspend this shell inside of this shell. The drill naturally will go to the lowest point. I mark it to give myself a visual, but the drill will find that low point when it's under the water. Same here. That's where the drill hole is going to go. Oh, there's another little cute conch. This really nice on his lip too. Oh, he's pretty. Love those stripes. Gorgeous. Those marks on them. And then I'm just going to drill these little ones. They're going to be ice cream cone tops probably. Now I'm not putting a hole mark on this yet because I need to wire brush this off next. That drill bit on for a reason, that worn out diamond blade. I knew at some point it was not going to work anymore, and that was a really great example of showing you how to know when to change your blade. When things don't want to cut and the blade just won't penetrate the shell, it's time to go. That means it doesn't have any more diamond on it. So you can go ahead and change that out and put a new one on, and you saw how quickly I went like right through that. That's the difference between having a dull tool and a sharp tool. You'll also notice that this one kind of broke and not in an even way, and it's really fragile. What I forgot to do was the test. Will it hold up to processing? It will not. That was my mistake for not doing that test first. So that one broke. That's a fail. Gets tossed out into the flower bed and we keep going. Here's that buttercup Lucine that I wanted to put a little brush to it. And just throw this on 2. Keep it, or 1.5 actually. Just kind of keep it sort of slow go. And just gonna, go in there a little bit. Get some of that calcified stuff out of there. There we go. And once that dries, it'll be much nicer, and so that cloudiness will be all gone. Alright, that's off of there. That's ready to be drilled. And you saw I already took the brush to the outside of this guy, exposed some of that nacre. I'd like to get this a little wet and see if they're taking additional polishing. A little bit of that outer layer of shell is very stubborn and does not want to come off, but that's okay. The rest of it got prettied up nice. A nice shine to it. And look how cute that is in the middle. I'll probably put like a little rhinestone over there. That's super cute. And then, you know what? I'm just gonna wire wheel this back. Make sure it's nice and clean. Alright. And that one's taken care of too. Alright, we got the medium one out right now. Got a diamond bit on that. We're gonna go ahead and drill some more. Going on there. Just work my way to the tools, just sit on the shelf. Right there. You can hear the point where it pierces through. And there it is. These little guys run quick and knock out fast. These guys, a little door tricky, and typically, I mean, I'll mark where I want the hole to go, but I'm going to actually do that from the inside. Oh, and it broke the edge. That's why I go from the inside. When you try them from the outside, sometimes it doesn't work. Now I can take a blade and trim that off. I suppose I can tell the saw off so you can hear me here. I'm going to take the blade, I'm going to trim this off, and I'm going to put another hole further up and see if I can salvage it. If not, it'll end up just being attached to a different project instead of being appended. Oh, yeah, I got to switch the plug though. Dry my hands before I touch the cords. It's okay to listen to music while you're doing this, but if you're going to sit outside, don't wear headsets. You need to hear your tool. You need to hear if the speed is dropped down, if it's getting dull, and you can only get that by listening to it. So I'll have Pandora on in the background, but I won't completely drown out the sound of the tools. I need to hear them. Also, I want to hear weather-wise if it's starting to thunder or anything like that. So just for safety's sake, don't go and block your hearing while you're doing this stuff either, guys. Alright, big dog, let's go. Ooh, boy, that is fragile. My. Okay. Let's see how fast that diamond went through there. So, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I think I'm going to drill down instead of through the side. Because I don't want it to split again. Kind of wedge this in here like this. Cradle this little guy in here. Aim this like this to hold it tight. Ooh. Whoa. My goodness. Really tough to drill that guy from the outside. Holy smokes. Alright then. Back to my original plan. Drill it from the inside. And I've got it going toward the spire here, so that's the thicker part of the shell right here. it's just not going through. Right as the drill bit penetrated that shell, poof, my battery on my camera died. It was time to change, and I didn't realize it because I was so engrossed in what I was doing. So we did it. We've got a little hole in the top of that pretty little yellow turbine. I just love this chestnut turbine. Absolutely love the colors. Absolutely beautiful. A little tip coloration going on. That orangey yellow, so sunny and pretty. So yeah, I like that one. Everything else just needs to be drilled. Now, this bit I am finding is a little worn out, but I gotta change the collet out on this one to put a different size mandrel in it so I can fit one of these bigger ones. Since I don't need the wire brush or the cutting wheel anymore, and I have some relatively thick stuff here to go through still. These turbines are thick. Don't think they're not. These little guys, a little less so. This is a bugger to go through. Olives are probably one of the hardest things to drill through. That glossy outside is like glass. So it takes one of these that is flat, as opposed to having that little hump in the middle. And that surface starts to wear on that glass. Then it'll wear the sides as it gets down into it. So this one will take quite a bit of drilling. Before I do that, because it's going to dull my bit a little bit, going through this might just destroy the bit completely. It could. It's happened to me a few times. I will go ahead and drill these first, since these will be the quickest and easiest to get through. Move on to the turbines, go at them from the inside. Then I will drill this one last. These olives get very hot when you drill them, just like the Sunray Venus clams do. The shells that have that glassy outside seem to share that property. They don't like the vibration and they don't like the heat. You've got to work wet with them to not only reduce the dust, but to keep them from cracking on you. Now, that being said, olives are exceptionally tough, and the only thing I've seen that really breaks them is like turtle chomps or something just going right through it, breaking the shell entirely. I've actually cut these edges off some broken ones and gotten some really neat cabochons to embroider around that way, actually. So we're going to do this beauty little lettered olive last, and I just love the pattern on that. That's a stunner. Alright, so when you change your bit, do your lightweight easy stuff first, then your medium stuff, then this guy here. Now, another side note about these bits, a lot of you have commented in the videos that you're worried that I'm going to cut my finger because I come so close when I'm doing stuff. These are not like traditional woodworking tools at all. Masonry bits, rather than gouging and removing material, have the diamond impregnation in them, so they just sand it off, albeit quickly. So this, it might be a little friction burn if it touches me, but it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to drill a hole in my finger with it, as I would if I was using a regular drill bit. The same as this. This is not a toothed saw blade. You can see I'm just running my hands right over it. Not sharp, not hurting me, not cutting me. So again, you might touch the end of this to your finger while you're working, and if your fingers are wet, you barely notice. You might give yourself, again, a little friction burn if you sit there and hold your finger on it while you're trying to grind. I wouldn't recommend that, by the way. But other than that, no. I have not cut myself on these. I have not cut myself on these diamond bits. When the edge of these get a little ragged, they are a little more dangerous. You won't cut yourself on this surface, but you could, if this is damaged on the edge, in theory, cut yourself with this. So you want to be a little careful using this. Don't touch the edges while the tool is rotating. And you'll notice I tend to keep the tool going and move what I'm doing, like you saw me do with that scallop shell, for example. Just show this guy out. I had it going like this, rounding, moving the shell, not my tool around the shell, the shell. It's much easier to do it that way. You can move the tool around if you want, but you'll have less control. The tool's a lot heavier, and you'll fatigue out faster. When you're cutting, you can guide the shell into it, You can guide the tool this way. You can both your hands going at one time, and when it's sharp and it's doing its thing, see, it's got that little bit of dust there. My finger's damp and it's just pulling it off of there, but it's not hurting me. It's not leaving a mark. It's just taking some of the dust out of the edge, out of the diamond bit on the edge of it. So yeah, don't worry too much about when you're using the diamond tools. It's safer than it looks, honestly. No, I don't want to go jamming my fingers into it by any means, but I'm not gonna have a catastrophic injury requiring hospital time if I do happen to hit this against my finger or the bit, or it's just not gonna hurt you. Not like woodworking tools do. So just something to keep in mind. Doing a little test here to see if the camera can see through the magnifier. And you can see I've got this little lighted board behind here. This was so that it would balance the light coming from above with some below, so it wasn't quite so reflective and hard on my eyes, because I was having a very hard time seeing before. So I have this little plastic tray. It's just from a piece of packaging, actually, and I will put the little rhinestone guys into that tray so that I can see them to pick them up. Now, a few pieces I worked on. Oops. I'm finding that it's hard to work with the magnifier and the camera. It's tough. But here, you can see one of those little flamingo decoupage earrings. I added some nice cute pink rhinestones to it and a little black one for his eye, just to give it a little pop, and I think it looks super cute. And I also added some to that Sunray Venus clam that had an existing hole in it. And then you guys probably remembered that one was made while I was doing the Desoto stuff. But I haven't been able to seal this stuff. It's been way crazy humid out. So I have another egg cockle. That little Venus clam that we decoupage, you can see where I glued the little bruised Nassau in there. And I wanted to add a couple of rhinestones or some sand to the bottom of this and then seal that. Got another Venus clam here that I'm going to add some rhinestones to kind of follow in between some of these beams. Cute egg cockle, gonna do like the other one. And then this one is a Atlantic cockle before it gets to be giant. I wanted to add a line of the gold ones just down the front of this. I thought it would be pretty. This guy's getting wire wrapped. And this little cutie pie that I love, this little baby's ear, I want to add some little rhinestones and a swirl onto this, just because it's just such a cool shape, and I think it would be fun. I have a crystal katana, but when I'm working with things so very tiny, the crystal katana feels a little unwieldy to me for controlling these little itty bitty stones. So I am using what are basically clay tools here. These are like a paintbrush, but then they have this silicone rubber flexible tip on the end, which allows you to add glue or pick up the stones. And then I will pick up and place the stones with this one here with the soft rounded point. And I also have a brush that I've glued the bristles flat into a chisel on, so that I could do things like that with that too. I'm going to go ahead and dump some of the colors up in that little plastic tray, and we'll get started. And before we get started, I just want you guys to see that I have these all flipped face up. it's much easier to set them if you pick them up from the top and set them into the glue. Magnifier is driving me crazy. I'm gonna need a different kind or something. This thing is not working for me today. My eyes are hating it. Kind of a bummer, but at the same time, can't mess around for too long with this glue. So, if it's not working, switch it up. I'm going to bring this light closer though. There. That's much helpful. Come on now. Difficult. Alright, very tiny and hard to see, but there are my little stones. Go down the front of my egg cockle here, and I'm just going to take some of this rhinestone glue. Make a little line with the edge of this tool. Just going to put a teeny little tip of glue on the very end of this thing to make it easier to pick them up. And I sort of wish the magnifier was working a little better for me for this particular task, but I'm going to have to do this without it. You only get so much time to work with this stuff though before it starts to dry, and then you really can't reposition anything, so you have to work kind of quickly. There we go. Nice little smaller version of the big one next to it. And that little one with the blue came out really cute. I love how that turned out. Okay, last two. The Sunray Venus and the small Atlantic cockle. Just found a rhinestone I dropped. Alright, now what do I want to put where? Let's see. I think I'm going to put some of the orange colored ones on both of these actually. Actually, no. On this one, I'm going to put some of the orange ones. On this one, I'm going to put just clear. Okay. And before I start, I like to make sure that they're all right side up. So I tap the tray a couple of times. It flips most of them to right side up. I'm gonna do the paintbrush on this one since this has got a bit of a texture to it. there we have it. Desoto stuff has been rhinestoned. Woohoo! Now I just have to get it sealed and have it dry. The stuff I have is kind of noxious. You have to spray it outside. And it just says stayed tacky the last couple of times I've tried. So I'm going to try one more time tonight. Time to wire wrap the coral. I'm just trying to hold this so that you can actually see what it is I'm doing when I'm making that little coil. Just grabbing, moving slightly, and releasing so that this stays flat. And that's what gives you your coil. And there we have it, a little piece of wire wrapped coral. Alright, this is crazy. All 4 of these shells are from Anclote Key, and they almost all have the exact same white line repair mark through them. Right there it's on that one. Right there it's on that one. That is wild. Yeah, look at that with that dark brown right underneath it. And then that is just crazy to me that all 4 of them have that same line. If I had to take a guess, I'm going to go ahead and say that maybe something environmental could have impacted them, and it was at the same time length ago, all at the same time, because they've each grown roughly a certain amount since that point, and it's a dent. I mean, it's an actual dent in the shell. It's not like just part of the patterning. It's a dent. Maybe a cold snap, maybe a red tide. I'm not sure, but that's very, very unusual to see all these shells from the same place all have this exact same issue going on with them. That's just nuts.
just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
As you can see, I broke the little orange shell that I had meant to go in the center of this beautiful buttercup lucine, and that's because I was so enamored with the color that I didn't do the press test and check and make sure that the shell would hold up. Better to find out now than, you know, have it break on a piece of jewelry, but I am a little bummed that I had to change my plans for that because it was cute. These little cuties, these little orange and yellow and this mottled color one are perfect ice cream cone sizes, but I don't have any augers or serraths cut right now, so I'll be setting these aside to be making cones with them later. Alright, I have a little necklace piece here that I've assembled, and this has what's called a safety chain on it. This is kind of like a throwback old school thing where your clasp hooks up here to the end, but see there's that little piece of little finer chain underneath that keeps it from opening too big, and it should help you keep it from losing it in case you happen to knock it off or catch it on something. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take and space these chestnut turbans around. Just kind of make like a charm bracelet out of that. So those are going to get spaced around the bracelet. there we have it. Some of the things we made from our finds at Anclote Key. Start over here, we have the his and hers in the Florida Fighting Conch, the matched colors. So 2 different necklaces. And then we have this beautiful buttercup with a nice scallop in there. Another really cute juvenile fighting conch. A sweet piece of wrapped coral. 2 Anclote keychains. And there's a couple of angels. I'm trying to get this to where not making a shadow over that. And then we have this great bracelet with the chestnut turbans on it. Awesome. I also tricked out these little beauties as well. And these are what was left to complete from the Desoto trip. And all they need now is to be sealed. And I just have to wait for a day when it's going to be dry enough to do that. We have 2 egg cockles here, done with the little line of rhinestones in the chakra colors. An Atlantic cockle, 2 Venus clams with some starbursts in the rhinestones. How cute, little baby's ear with the swirl match. Then we have a long spine star shell that's had some of the outside removed so you can see some of that great mother of pearl inside. And our cute little decoupage flamingos. And there you have it. As soon as these are sealed, they'll be put on necklaces and added to the store. So Odyssey Tours, the company that I went out to Anclote with, runs something called a shelling tour. And I found out about it while I was on the boat on this trip, and I really wanted to get back up there. But it's been a couple months since I've been there, and I've been straight out busy with so much stuff. So I called today to try to find out about when the date is, when can you go? And I learned that they only run that tour on shelling season. Oh man. Which they say is October to basically the beginning of May. I live in Florida, so for me, shelling season is all year round. But perhaps they don't get enough shells out there to warrant taking the boat tour out there during the summer months. That's entirely possible. Oh, man. Well, anyway, we will get back to Anclote eventually. And until then, I'll keep showing you some of the other fun destinations that I've been to and am going to, some of the cool shells I found, some of the cool fossils I found, and you'll notice that you're seeing a lot more shorts on my channel now. Something about those is just fun. I kind of like putting them together. They're quick, they're fun, cool little live animal encounters or really neat shells. So don't worry, there'll be plenty more fun to be had, and we will get back out to Anclote eventually. We have some really neat stuff coming up. And just to tease a few of the things that we do have coming up, I have a second trip out to Anclote Key. Been to Stumps Pass twice. Haven't showed you guys any of that yet. We had a day where we hit 4 beaches. Didn't find a ton. Had a day when we hit 2 beaches. Didn't find much on the first one. Found a ton on the second one. We've been on a couple of fossil hunting trips. So there's lots more fun to stay tuned and keep watch for. But I'm just going to show you a couple of little excerpts from one of the next videos that I plan to share, which is going to be going fossil shell hunting at an actual mine. I'm going shelling. Take a look at this guy. He's like a little sea biscuit with the star pattern on it. You can see the 5-armed pattern on there. That is awesome. See, there's the 5-armed star pattern on it. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the support and all the new subscribers. Really appreciate it. And come on back next week. We're going to have some more fun.